Today we got two more teasers videos for Black Ops 6 Zombies, and one's really interesting for the story and the other one's pretty interesting for both story and gameplay. But this is really exciting, so let's not waste any more time. Like and subscribe, and let's get right into this. In this first teaser trailer, we actually see the Gobblegum machine itself. Now it looks similar to the original one from BO3, but it has changed. It has a new color, but more importantly, at the top it says no longer Dr. Monty, but Mr. Peaks, and even has the mystery box bunny, who is Mr. Peaks, right at the top. And this is something I've been kind of saying for a long time now, but Mr. Peaks is going to be very important in this storyline, and this just finally proves that. Because think about the last guy that was on the Gobblegum machine, Dr. Monty, like, he was pretty important. So now we got Mr. Peaks there. He's probably also going to be very important for the storyline. Now, of course, one interesting thing about this Gobblegum machine is that it has a TV on it. It has a please stand by thing that looks very similar to the TVs that we see on 5, Classified, and Alpha Omega, which is interesting to say the very least. I guess we'll have to wait and see why that is in the future. But then the TV starts to play a little cartoon, and the main thing from this is we actually get a first look at our Gobblegums that we are going to be getting, and a couple of them that we could see are going to be Cashback, the one that gives you max ammo, Wall Power, that pack punches any gun you purchase off the wall. Then we have Profit Sharing, which shares profit between all players. Then after that we see Stock Option, which takes bullets directly from your stock instead of your clip. And finally, as the one you guys all been expecting, we have Perkaholic, which is very interesting to see. These ones are the ones that are going to return. Now obviously there's probably going to be more that we'll see in the future, but for now these are the ones that we at least have confirmed. Now a couple things outside the Gobblegums themselves is to mention the color. Now the color are not the same from what we saw in Black Ops 3. Obviously Perkaholic was an orange Gobblegum, now it is clearly a red one. And I'm curious to see how they're going to handle this. I wonder if it's going to be similar to Black Ops 3, that the color lets you know how it's activated, whether it's something you have to trigger, or if it's something that automatically triggers, or one that triggers on some sort of instant happening. Another thing that's worth mentioning is the rarity system seems to not be the same here, because you just see smooth Gobblegums and line Gobblegums. So originally that would just be the free Gobblegums and then a rare Gobblegum, and I wonder if that's the only rarities we're going to have, is just a rare and the free ones. It could be, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But of course this brings us to our next video, and this one is showing direct documents from Project Janus, and all of them have to do with the interrogation of the 4 Requiem characters. Now the first one actually has to do with the interrogator himself. To Chief Maxwell, we are writing this to inform you that Ernest Dufford has been assigned to serve blank for the foreseeable future. Mr. Dufford has previously served a similar position at the facility in Hohenschönhausen, Germany. While he cannot disclose his professional history at this time, please understand that we believe he will uphold the standard and quality we have come to expect from Terminus Island. Sincerely, Project Janus Administrator. Now in this we hear two names, Chief Maxwell and also the interrogator Ernest Dufford. Now one thing that's interesting is his little history that they do mention, that he was at this one other prison that I could barely say the name, so I'm not going to try to say it again. I probably already said it wrong once, but this prison was actually in East Berlin. It was a prison for political enemies. That was the whole point of it, and it seems like he's just been reusing his skills that he learned there to now interrogate the Requiem crew. And from this we could actually see what he thinks about all 4 of the characters. First is Carver. Interrogation press brief. Subject Carver McKenzie. Interrogator Ernest Dufford. Initial intake status. Trained to counteract interrogation tactics. Time to get creative. He boosts morales for the groups Break Him and Break 'Em All. Current status, he has resorted to shutting down via disassociation during the interrogation. Careful to conserve his energy in my presence. Running physical training sessions with his companions have kept him stable, considering isolation. Now reading this, I don't really think that there is much to really take from this, except that he's just working out, trying to keep people, keep morale high between all of the guys, and they want to separate them. Like, there's nothing really significant here that I think is worth mentioning. So we'll move on to our next one, which is going to be Elizabeth Gray. Interrogation Progress Brief. Subject Elizabeth Gray. Interrogator Ernest Dufford. Initial intake status. Impudent and willful in sessions, but footage from holding cell suggests she's putting on a face. Repeatedly stated during intakes that some would come looking for her and the other members of Requiem. Current status, acts bravant and disregards her own safety, no longer responds to threats of physical harm. As stated, she's no longer believes anyone's coming for her. So with Gray, it just seems like she's kind of giving up at this point. I mean, they initially were arrested in 1985 and now it's 1991. It's been 6 years that they've been kept here, so, you know, it seems like exactly that. She's just kind of given up. She doesn't believe anybody's going to come for her anymore, even though initially when she was trapped there, she did think that was going to happen, but obviously just not a great situation for her. But with that, let's move on to Gregory Weaver. Interrogation Progress Brief. Subject Gregory Weaver. Interrogator Ernest Dufford. Initial intake status. Blames himself for the incarceration of Requiem. Brainstorm ways to exploit this. Acts as an anchor point for the rest of the team. Keeping him separated from Gray Strauss may give us an advantage. The director wants this one to suffer. Current status? Without clear purpose, Weaver has become a broken, bitter man. Physical labor will continue to take place before our sessions. It makes him more malleable. So this one's a bit interesting. It seems like Richtofen, who we now know is the director, does not like this guy, and I think there's good reason for this, because he says the director wants this one to suffer, and this is why they're putting him through physical labor and also just trying to break him, and it seems like they successfully did that because they said he's become a broken and bitter man. And if you guys know the story from Cold War, you know that it is highly suggested that Gregory Weaver is directly at fault for whatever happened to Richtofen's son, whether he's just straight up dead or that he is now trapped in the Dark Ether. Regardless of what his fate is for Richtofen's son, it is highly suggested Gregory Weaver is directly responsible for that. And if that's the case, it makes sense why exactly Richtofen is trying to really mess with this guy. But for the final one is for Strauss. Interrogation Progress Brief. Subject Strauss Oscar. Interrogator Ernest Dufford. Initial status clings to blank moral standards. Blank core will take time to crack. Be sure his knowledge is integral to our objective. Current status welfare of his teammates and curiosity keeps him on task. Grip on reality is loosened considerably. He has become very adept at misdirection. Excuse caution. Now this one just kind of confirms what I kind of thought was happening with Strauss, because we do know when we saw our playable characters, it was 3 Requiems and then brand new character named Maya. The one that was missing was Strauss, and this kind of explains why that's the case. Not only is he incredibly old by now, but on top of that, it seems like, I mean, directly from this, he's losing his grip on reality, so that's not a great thing. Now, last we've seen, it seems like he is still alive, so maybe he will be like an NPC on Terminus or something like that, but as of now, it doesn't seem like he's going to be the most useful individual for whatever is going to happen in this map. And that's everything we learned through these teasers, and I'm very curious to hear what you guys think about this. What do you think about the Gobblegum side of this? What do you think about what's happening with the interrogation and how long these characters from Requiem have been kept in captivity and their experience through it? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions, even theories on anything you wish to share down in the comment section below. Regardless though, that's going to wrap up this video. If you guys did enjoy it, I'd appreciate if you guys dropped a like, subscribe, bell, share, any of that great stuff. But I'm going to go and I'll catch you guys next stream, video, or whatever the heck it may be. And laters, guys.